Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Distinguished Speaker Series, another session of the Distinguished Speaker Series at Accelerate Global. My name is Asma Wasti. I'm the founder and creator of Accelerate Global. As you know, we are an education and personal growth company. We are a business accelerator, and we help people develop digital businesses, online growth, etc. Go and check out our website. But one of my favorite things to do is to get people from within the industry sector, people that are remarkable at the at what they do, whether they are different types of coaches or business owners and entrepreneurs, and we learn from them what makes them who they are and what keeps them going. Why do they do what they do? And it is one of my favorite things to do out of everything, all the things that I get to do as CEO and founder of my company and running a big organization with tons of employees and hundreds and thousands of clients. This is one of the most favorite things to do, is to bring the experts in their field and talk to you so that we can all learn together and grow together. So it's really my good luck and privilege to bring to you a remarkable story and a remarkable person from all the way from Philadelphia, US, Ben Bakayoko. Hello, Ben, and welcome to the Distinguished Speaker Series.
Hey, Osama. Hey, everybody tuning in. How's it going?
Thank you. We do have people keep joining us, and we will be sharing their comments. So if you're joining us live, put hashtag live. If you're going to see it in replay, say hashtag replay. Let me introduce Ben a little bit to you. Ben is an extremely successful, he's a contemporary of ours, of Accelerate Global and myself, extremely successful and highly sought after coach, trainer, and rapid business growth strategist. He specializes in helping coaches launch, grow, and scale their business six figures quickly by putting together automated systems that attract happy, high-paying clients. And his primary focus is to get, over next 2 years, help 100 coaches earn their first 100K in the business. And we're going to find out how he plans to do that. But before that, we're going to find out about the story of Ben, like who he is and how did he end up being, where he is today. And it's always a remarkable story. So, guys, when you're putting comments down below, please do write down hi, thank you, joining you live, and we'll showcase that here. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and we'll ask them live for Ben to give you the answers and solve them. So, Ben, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great question, Osama. So I'm originally from Ivory Coast. That's West Africa. That's where I was born, and I immigrated to the U.S. when I was about 2 years old. And I even went to foster care. I neglected to tell you that when we were having that conversation. I went to foster care, so I was separated from my family for about 2 years as a kid, me and my sister, and then afterwards. It's just like I lost touch with my native. Like I used to speak my native tongue, and now I only spoke English. But even though I spoke English, I didn't feel like American. So like I had like a conflict of identity. So I just never really felt African, and I never really felt American. And to make matters worse, whenever I went to school, because I had a unique last name, the full last name is Ben Bakayoko. So people used to call me like Ben Bakahoho, like the Pokemon, or Yo-Yo, like the toy you used to play, and they just really used to get under my skin.
And immigrant here and gone through the same thing. Yes, I can relate.
Yeah, so it was tough. So I just, and then I grew up as an only child because I was separated from my sister at an early age as well. So I was the only child in the house, and I just remember always saying like, "Yo, why don't I have an older sister or older brother that could just make me cool and then also tell me what to do about these bullies?" So I kind of had to figure that stuff out on my own. And I actually carried that with me all the way till college. Starting off, I wasn't really good at school. I had ambitions of being like the next NBA or NFL player because that's the only way at a young age that I imagined that I could get into college. And then I believe my sophomore year in high school, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I was playing on a football field, right? And then I jumped on.
I see that. Yeah.
Like I jumped on the goalpost, but soccer nets go into it as well. So I ended up tearing a hole all the way through here. It missed the tendon.
Wow.
And at that
How
point,
old were you?
I was probably 16.
Okay, very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm just like, I'm not being a football player. I'm not getting a scholarship. And that's when I really started to study, and I ended up getting a scholarship to college. It was a dean scholarship so it paid
Wow.
for my tuition,
Congratulations for that.
and it
Yeah.
got me away from home
Mhm.
into a newer environment where I got kind of introduced into personal development, which ultimately kind of started building my confidence. And I could go more into that story, but I'll let you ask any questions if you have anything based on what I've shared so far.
Yeah, that's remarkable. So for you to carve out the story like, carve out the fact that you had to go and study further or to figure out a way to make it, that was a not everybody thinks like that as a child. For a 16-year-old, 15-year-old to think like that, to have a goal in life. That's to me, it sounds like you had goals from very young age. Where did that come from?
Yeah. It's, interesting. So I think it was the athletic background that allowed me to have goals,
Hmm.
right? So growing up where there wasn't much around where I was, my father drove a taxi. There it is. My mom, she used to braid hair, and my father drove a taxi. And one of
Hmm.
my biggest desires as a kid was just like, yo, I just want to spend more time with my dad. But he couldn't because when I woke up, he was
He was
gone.
away.
When
Yeah.
I came back, he was gone. So just
Mm.
like we never spent time together. And I remember cherishing the moments that he would take me to go to work, which means it's just like he'd buy me McDonald's and I'd be in the passenger seat. And then sometimes he'd still pick up somebody, and I'd be excited about that because I like that. But I remember promising it to myself at a young age, when I grow up, I'm not gonna be like my dad. I'm gonna make enough money to be able to spend as much time as I want with my kids.
That was your driving force. Okay, that makes sense. So you learned setting goals and going after them and achieving them over time at a young age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
hmm
anything deviate you from that? Did anything, there's all sorts of, incentives that can change our direction from reaching our goals.
Yeah. At an early age,
Mm-hmm.
I was very laser focused because and that environment is very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because early on, it like of course I'm originally from Ivory Coast, but then
Mm-hmm.
I moved to New York, which was not a very positive environment for a young man to grow up in, and that's why my parents moved me to Philadelphia. But at that point, Philadelphia wasn't a really good place for kids to grow up either. Like there was always gang violence, there was drugs, there was a lot of stuff that I actually did kind of get involved with, but not to the extent that it could have gone, simply for the fact that I had sports and I had coaches, right? They
Mm-hmm.
were just like, yo, be at after school, come to training. Training was like from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. That was the rest of the night. So just like there
Mm-hmm.
was much more mischief to get into after that. And then once I started getting good at athletics, it was just like, well, I want to get stronger. I want to get faster. So now I started devoting more and more time to practicing and spending time with people who actually wanted to get better. So that kept
Uh-huh.
me off the streets as opposed to a lot of the other people.
Very smart. Very good. Yeah, athletics does play a big part. So from there onwards, you went on to get your master's degree. Walk us through that part of your life.
Yeah, so the master's degree came after the undergraduate degree.
Mm-hmm.
And what was so important about the undergraduate degree, and the reason that I'm adding this is because when I got there, I remember thinking getting a 4.0 in school was impossible. But then I
Mm-hmm.
met people. These were Nigerians. So one, remember, I had a low self-esteem as an African, but now I met the Nigerians. This is their first year in America, and they have all the confidence in the world. I was confused, right? And not only did they have a lot of confidence, they were getting 4.0 GPAs. I'm like, that's impossible, right? So
Exactly.
now I just started spending more time with them, and I'm just like, no, they're not geniuses. They just study. They spend 2 to 3 hours in the library. So I started spending 2 to 3 hours in the library. I started committing to reading books, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I really started to read. And then finally, when I graduated, um, got married and had kids, told myself I wanted to be a professional speaker, but I couldn't quite get that off to the ground in time. I was driving Uber full time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Myself and my kids, and I was just like, this Uber is not going to work while I'm supporting my family because now I'm my dad, the person that I promised I wasn't going to be.
You're exactly doing the same. Wow. See how the life comes to a full circle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
hmm
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, all right. And he was the one who suggested I go do the MBA program, and that's when I started to lock down and get enrolled into the MBA program. Temple University's Fox School of Business. It was a 2-year program, and throughout the whole program, I felt like an underdog because I studied African American history in college. I didn't have
Mm-hmm.
like the business acumen, but
Mm-hmm.
again, because I had the discipline from college and then also football, I'm just like, yeah, the people in my class, y'all could study for 1 or 2 hours and pass the test. I'm committing 6 to 8 hours a day so I could pass this
Mm-hmm.
test. And although I was passing with C's and B's, I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
willing to put in the work to get the result.
Because you're walking through. So I noticed a few things that you mentioned. So the environment is super important. I noticed that you talked about that earlier part of your life as well as latter years. Now that you're looking around for all those new immigrants, that Nigerians that are putting in the hours and the commitment and actually, making the difference. And you started believing that if they can do it, I can do it too. So
Mm-hmm.
that environment of successful people around you, those committed people around you that have similar goals, they may fall off the track, but eventually they get back on again, but they continue with the same passion. That's so important, and I
Yeah.
see that continuum in your life that way.
Mm-hmm.
So then after the MBA, you would think, and I, it's your story to tell, so I'm not going to share mine, but I can relate to what you said, because I didn't start a business of my own, even though I have an MBA. Did you start yours right away?
No, I didn't start it right away. I
Yeah.
had ambitions to start it,
Yeah.
but I didn't have the courage to fully pursue it.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
and what? So that was what was stopping you from doing it, and what happened? Where did it take your ambition take you then?
And you know what's interesting? Like I would refer to myself as a speaker or business
Hmm.
person or something like that. But I had the slightest idea about business, how to generate income, how to create a product or service, how to sell. Like I had no notions of that. Um,
Hmm.
so I guess the genesis really was after the MBA program. Like I had immediately assumed because I have this fancy degree, kind of like what they tell you, you're willing to commit $120,000 for it. And now I got a salary that I was excited about initially because it was better than Uber.
Hmm.
They were paying me $45,000 a year for customer service, and I'm a go getter. And I was just like, I like to work really hard, and so I was working really hard for that job. But after
Hmm.
6 months, like I feel like I mastered the skill sets, and there was no
Hmm.
more growth. And I stayed at
Hmm.
that company for 2 or 3 years. Um,
Hmm.
and throughout the whole time, I'm just like, this is not enough. This is not sustainable for me and my family. Like I was still on government assistance. So in the back of my mind, I'm just like, oh, I have to figure out how to build a business. And that's when I really started entrepreneurship, and I got into network marketing first. Um,
Hmm.
and this was after the MBA program. It was probably my third network marketing opportunity. But what was
Hmm.
so unique about this third opportunity for network marketing is I had a coach that was making $200,000 or $300,000 in her network marketing business, and I had personal contact with her. So I saw how hard she worked. I saw how she prospected. I saw how she handled objections. I saw the energy she brought to her business and to the people that she worked with, and I could model that. And so,
Very interesting.
mm,
Very interesting. We're going to talk about your journey into entrepreneurship from there onwards, because you were working elsewhere, and. So tell me about a couple of, because in our prior discussions you've given a little bit more insight into a couple of life defining moments, right?
mhm, yeah,
One was today you shared that changed the course of your life. So instead of becoming an athlete and a sportsman person, you ended up going in the academic way. Um, but tell me something about that is life defining, that actually was a aha moment, maybe a wake up call for you, maybe a life changing moment that actually put you in the direction of where you are today.
yeah. So one of the things that's really big. So we just talked about me starting network marketing, which was really cool because I got to see what a full-time business owner actually looks
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm.
And from that experience with network marketing is when I finally realized I didn't want to do network marketing full time, because I didn't fully understand that business, and that's not what I was passionate about. And that's when I found coaching, right? And that's when I started coaching my friends and family members for free. And I was spending a lot of time doing it, but I wasn't generating any income or revenue. And then I remember because I around the same time I was spending a lot of time with Tony Robbins, so I was going to a lot of Tony Robbins events.
Mhm.
And from year to year, he'd suggest what's it called, investing in like one of his higher level programs. I was just like, I'm cool. Like I could figure this stuff out on my own. And then a year would go by, and I wouldn't figure anything out. I'd be in the same spot or worse off than I was. And then
Mm.
it just started to accumulate. And he always had this program called the Platinum Partnerships
Mhm.
that I was always fascinated with, but I always told myself I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. Like I can't afford this. And even if I could afford this, like the people that can afford this program, they're so different from me that like they wouldn't even want to be around me. They judge me, so I don't even want to be around them.
So you were missing all the shots that you were not making. You didn't even get to start, like even from the get go. And I'm thankful to you that you shared that, because that's a lot of it. What I hear, I'm sure you hear that too. Given that the level of scale that you're in right now, the given that we're a $10 million company evaluation, we hear that all the time from the clients that we prospect and have that conversation in terms of sales, is either we don't have the time, so our calendar is full, and with life, not with anything else, but with our own life, right? And we don't have the resources, and I don't know if I can make it, like just the fear of falling off of it, right? And do you see that often, and why is that?
Yeah. Yes, I see it often. Because I have conversations with a lot of potential clients and the people that qualify to work with me, but and I'm
Because
not
you
working.
went through that yourself, right? So that's why, yeah.
So I completely get it, and I needed time to fully believe. So it took me 3 years to really fully believe and to return
Wow.
to that conversation. So I had heard about Tony's Platinum Partnership for about 3 years, and Tony would always say it's just like because he made a big investment in Jim Rome's program, right?
Hmm.
And he didn't have the money for it, but he had to go find the money. And when he told himself he don't have the money, he's just like, yo, with that mindset, you'll never find it.
Yeah, true. So
That
true.
at that moment, I stopped telling myself I don't have the money or the time to do anything. And I had a conversation with somebody named Scotty that was on Tony Robbins' team. And
Hmm.
I remember inquiring about the price for the Platinum Partnership, and it was always six figures.
Hmm.
And I was like, hey, Scotty, that's actually twice my annual salary. Like, how do you
Hmm.
suggest I figure out how to pay for this? It was just like, I don't suggest you figure out how to pay for this. How about you just go with one of the lower level programs? And
Hmm.
whenever you're ready, you could come back to us. And
Hmm.
something shifted in me in that moment because he didn't try to sell me. I felt
Mm.
so I told myself in my mind, hey, Scotty, I use an expletive, meaning a curse word to him. And I was just like, I'm going to figure out how to pay for this program in 8 months.
You bet. Oh, wow. Okay, that's the kind of spirit. Okay, perfect. And then, did you?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. And that was the genesis of me deciding to quit my job. So once I made that decision that, hey, yes, this program is twice as much as my annual salary right here, but I created an affirmation that said, I'm never going to settle for less than I can be, do, share, create, or give. And I adopted it from Tony Robbins. I was just like, yo, this is what I deserve. This is what my family deserves. And I'm going to find a way to do this. Because what's the alternative? Continuing to show up to a job that I don't like, that's not serving me, that's not allowing me to spend time with my family, work out the way that I want to work out with, and spend time with my creator like the way that I want to. So it's not working. So let me find another way. And that's when I went all out into the coaching. So I told myself by July I was going to quit my job. No, by August I was going to quit my job, and I ended up quitting, making the decision to quit in April. And now when I got to the point where this was the life defining moment, right? So one
Right.
was decision to be like, hey, I'm gonna pay for Tony's coaching program, although I don't know how to do it. I realized like, hey, there is a way to do it, but right now I'm trading my time for dollars, meaning
Mm.
I've
Your
agreed
working hours. Yeah.
that's only paying me, I don't know how much per hour, but it wasn't enough. And I knew I had more value than that because I had already been coaching. And I was just like, yo, some coaches right now, they're paid. I got people paying me $100 per hour. So
Mhm.
maybe I could get like 10 other people to do that and I'll replace my job. Right. But
Yeah, that's usually what the beginning thoughts are for any. I was the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
but at the time I only had like three paying clients. So and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna quit my job. And the first thought I thought was, all right, I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna ask for some extra time off. And I was just like, yo, can you give me 30 days off? And he was
Mhm.
just like, no, you got 1 week or you fired. And I was just like, I quit. And then he was just like, no, you're fired. And I was just like, no, I want my job back.
What the
Yeah.
freak?
Uh,
Okay.
and I can even I remember being in that moment, not even wanting to have that conversation with him. Like I told myself I was gonna have the conversation Monday. I ended
Mhm.
up having it Tuesday.
Mhm.
And I was expecting to get a loan from Wells Fargo to kind of like supplement my income.
Mhm.
And Wells Fargo denied the loan. And I was just like, now I definitely can't quit my job. But because I had already started that conversation with them, I continued along the process.
All
And
right.
I was already coaching a group of people, and I had told them, like, hey, I'm quitting my job. And when the loan didn't come through, I was just like, I can't go back to them and say that I didn't quit. So I just stuck to the decision.
So there's a way that universe kind of tracks takes you, like I found that for myself on my own personal journey, and I can see that. And then when you commit yourself, when you put that in writing, you're kind of bound yourself to your own word, really, that I got to follow through what I say here. Now it's now or never kind of a situation. And I noticed that you said that earlier in your conversation too. It was your own mindset that changed, something shifted in you. Not, it had nothing to, not necessarily to do, the program was always there for 3 years. Tony Robbins kept on offering you, right? There, the program was there, the price was there, the price was still the same, it's six figures. So what, I want to get into a little bit for people who are hesitant, because I know I should have started, and you can go and check on my website the podcast for myself. Someone else is interviewing me and my story of what how I started, and I didn't start for 9 months where I should have, I could have. And that was the whole mindset, the what if I fail mindset, the what if I, if it doesn't work mindset, what if, oh, I know now I don't have to get help from anyone else, and why should I spend that money into and put that investment in it where I can figure things out myself? And that wasted 9 months of my time. So it and I see that happen a lot in in places, and where we're talking to people and clients, and they say, I wish I had met you earlier. Right? I'm sure you've heard that too. and
Yeah.
and it comes so tell what's going on in the mindset, and how we can help that with people to make that shift.
Yeah, man. So one, I like to call it a dream outcome. So
Hmm.
one, like we have. So Tony has this quote where he says, "It's just like in order to succeed, like the number one factor for all success is hunger." Right? Like you have to have hunger, and either that hunger is because you're in a desperate situation, or the hunger is because you just have a desire for something you want really, really, really bad. And you could get it either from, and if you don't have that hunger, he says, get around successful people, and something's kind of like on slack you. Like you're going to see the distinction between what you have and what they have, and then once you realize that they're human and they're no different than you, then you kind of stop settling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once that happened, um, what I realized, the thing that really shifted for me is the concept of paying for speed,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I really started to realize one of my other coaches, like he said this quote to me in like February after I had that conversation with somebody on Tony Robbins' team.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, yo, Ben, did you know it's harder to earn, say, $50,000 in a year than it is to earn $50,000 in a month? I was like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, then he was just, I'm like, I've been trying to earn $100,000 for over the past 10 years and it hasn't worked. And you're telling me it's easier to do that in a month than it is in a year? Then he says it's easier to do it in what's it called? In a week than it is to do it in a month. Then it's easier to do it in a day than a week. And then in an hour than a day. And I was just like, wow, that was a paradigm shift. But that made me reflect on my past 3 years in customer service, or how much time, effort, and sacrifice I put into Uber. I'm realizing that was a lot of time for a little bit of return. And here's somebody telling me that they could teach me a system to be
Mm-hmm.
able to generate that much in a shorter period of time.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go ahead and figure that out.
Mm-hmm. So stop exchanging your time for money. Okay.
Hmm.
Very good. Very good. And then, so you did say that you wanted to talk about, like, you wanted to be a motivational speaker even back when, in your earlier childhood, and it kind of connected with what you're doing now,
Mhm.
really guiding people. So what was that where did that initial thought come from, where it came to a full circle with Scott at Tony Robbins?
Can you rephrase the question?
So in terms of knowing that you want to be a motivational speaker, where did that thought originally come from?
Yeah. So the rich, because every week, when I was in college, because remember I had that low self-esteem, so every week it was on the Tuesday, and I'm originally Muslim, but I went to like Episcopalian college. So on
Mhm.
Tuesdays they'd have chapel, and I'd be sitting there in chapel, and then a motivational speaker would be in there just speaking life into me and inspiring me,
Mm.
encouraging me.
Okay,
I was just
that's
like,
where it came
wow,
from.
that's what started to give me the discipline, the confidence, and the mindset that there is more out there from you. So I was committed to showing up there on Tuesdays and Thursday, and because I was in that environment, I started sharing that stuff. I started becoming more comfortable with being who I am. I was
Mhm.
just like, yo, I'm not the only one that's dealing with a low self-esteem, low confidence, and that doesn't fully believe in themselves. So it's just like I want to do for other people what these speakers have been able to do for me, and that's what I've made my mission.
Perfect. Oh, I love that. So from that time to now, how did you get the clarity of your business in terms of, okay, so being a motivational speaker to what you do now, right?
Mhm.
I just told everyone what you do now. Let's talk a little bit more about that business that you bring to them.
Yeah.
To convert that into a business, literally a product, and that helps people move forward with theirs.
Yeah. So what I do now, I'm essentially, in layman's term, I'm a sales and marketing coach.
Hmm.
So I started off like as a traditional life coach,
Hmm.
right? Where I was teaching people like the stuff that I learned from those speakers. But then I was just like, not only do I want to help you with your life, I also want to empower you to kind of live the lifestyle that
Hmm.
I've been able to live, where I'm able to quit my job, and specifically for people who feel as though they're called to do what I felt as though I was called to do, coaching. So it's just like I learned so much about sales, marketing, and creating offers and services from all of the coaches that I invested in, and it took me like a whole 10 years to figure out how to create a business out of my
Hmm.
intellectual property, the life experiences that I've had. So it's just
Hmm.
like, yo, I want to teach you how to do that, say in a period of 3 months.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's what I specialize in doing. Like, how do we take your life experience, what you're passionate about, and what you feel as though you know how to teach? How can we package that into a service you could charge, say, $3,000 to $10,000 for? And
So
attract.
having that clarity, because not everybody's got, like, people know that they have got skills, but they don't
Mhm.
know how to convert that skill into a packaged product or a
Yeah.
service and then
Mhm.
actually sell it from there onwards. You have a program that's for a certain number of days or weeks that people come on board with, and they end up leaving with something at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have an entry level program.
Hmm.
Which is generally about 3 months. And
Hmm.
then afterwards, the hope is just like it's 3 months. In 3 months, you'll get such amazing results. You want to work with me for life. Like I
Hmm.
want to work with my coaches. So in those 3 months, depending on where you are, I like to tell people I work with three types of people. One I call like lighter fluid businesses, where they're already on fire or
Hmm.
they're already doing good, and I add some lighter fluid to it, which means I just mess with their copy, their language, or maybe their sales system, and they're able to scale. And then you have companies that are kind of stuck in sinking, kind of like where I was, where it's just like you launch your coaching program. Maybe you're already spending money on ads, you're doing some content on social media, but you're
Hmm.
not getting no leads, you're not converting, and you're actually negative cash flow. It's just
Hmm.
like you're stuck, you're sinking, and you want me to kind of help you out. So in 3 months, like I could get you some cash flow positive. And the people that I love to work with the most, though, are the people that are just starting off, like I was, because they're so coachable, meaning they
Hmm.
don't have all the limiting beliefs about the marketplace and what
Sure.
doesn't work and what's not working. So they can
Yeah.
come in and just master the system from start to finish and just scale.
Yes, I love that too. And or anyone who's willing and who's open to learn and be coachable.
Mhm.
Who are I love that. I mean, there's a lot of good takeaways from your story today, Ben. Do you know that we've almost exhausted our time? We are, of course, going to share all your links. I know you provide that under below. So for the live session that have joined us, quite a few number of people joined us today. So thank you for watching that. They were in and out throughout, and we would be putting all the links for Ben and Ben's program. And I know anyone who comes through to us as our speaker has a special giveaway for Accelerate Global people who come through us to you, to give them maybe a free consultation or maybe a free something that actually is exclusively to them, for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, what I'll be happy to do for people listening to Accelerated Growth, specifically people that are interested in building their own coaching business, what I've developed is what I call my 6-figure coaching secrets course.
Mhm.
It's just like it'll teach you from start to finish how to create your program, how to package your offer, and even how to get your website and paid ads going. So it's just
Mhm.
like, and one of the links that I shared with Osama,
Mhm.
benbycoaching.com/free guide.
Mhm.
You'll be able to go ahead and access that free course and it'll teach you anything. And if you'd like to schedule a consultation after going through the free content, feel free.
Oh,
There's
that's wonderful. That's worth quite a bit of a value, I believe, right?
Mhm.
It's you know, it's I don't know if it's 3 figures or 4 figures, but it's pretty good.
Yes,
You can
absolutely.
tell you. All
Mhm.
right. So someone here says, "Love your spirit, Ben. Thank you for that." And that's awesome. So you did make a connection and you did make an impression on people. Thank you so much, Ben, for that. I truly appreciate your time today and sharing your story and sharing your journey with us. We do get our inspiration from that. A number of our audiences, they do tell us afterwards. And if you guys have questions for Ben, we would be forwarding it to him for sure. Ask questions underneath the video on YouTube. You can access it on Accelerate Global, the YouTube channel, and go through. It will be posted. It's going live right now, and it will be posted again tomorrow for those that are looking to watch it in replay. So, and we will be seeing you again for sure with another amazing entrepreneur and sharing their journey and their story and their top tips for you. So I would take it from Ben that it is much more easier to make 50K in a week or in a month versus a year. I know that for a fact because I've done it myself. So, and so has he. And for his clients, for our clients, we're all in it together. So please figure out if you want to know how, check out our YouTube video and the link below, and we'll get you connected with Ben. All right. Thank you so much, guys. See you again with another guest audience. Thanks, Ben. Take care.